Listen carefully. What I'm about to show you will change everything you think you know about changing your life. You've been trying to become someone new. You've been working on your self-concept, building confidence, affirming who you want to be. You visualize. You repeat affirmations. You live in the end. And it's exhausting. Because you're trying to convince yourself you're someone different while still remembering everything that made you who you are. Every failure, every rejection, every moment you weren't enough, every time someone told you that you couldn't, every disappointment, every setback, every time you tried and it didn't work. You're carrying all of it, and you're trying to become someone new while dragging this entire history behind you like chains. It doesn't work. You can't build a new identity on top of an old foundation. The old stories are too heavy. The old evidence is too convincing. The old memories are too vivid. The old version of you keeps pulling you back because you remember being them. You remember being shy, so becoming confident feels like climbing a mountain. You remember struggling with money, so becoming abundant feels impossible. You remember being rejected, so believing you're loved feels like a lie. The past is always there, whispering, but you're not really that person. Remember who you actually are. Remember what really happened. Remember how things really went. And you believe it, because you do remember. And the memories feel more real than the new identity you're trying to claim. So here's what you're going to do instead. Close your eyes right now. I'm serious. Close them. Now I want you to imagine that you just woke up. But something's different. You have no memory of who you were. Complete amnesia. You can't remember your past. All of it, every single memory that formed your identity. Gone, erased, disappeared. You're sitting here right now with a completely blank internal slate. No history, no story, no identity from the past, weighing you down or propping you up. No reference points, no evidence, no proof of who you've been. Just nothing. A clean, empty, open space where your identity used to be. And in this space, someone walks up to you. Maybe it's a doctor. Maybe it's a friend you don't remember. Maybe it's just a stranger. And they ask you the simplest question in the world. Who are you? And you realize you have no idea. You can't pull from your past because you don't have one. You can't reference your history because it's gone. You can't say, well, I've always been this way because you don't remember always. You can't say, people have told me I'm like this because you don't remember people or what they said. You have absolutely nothing to pull from except this present moment, right here, right now, with complete freedom. So you get to decide, not based on evidence, not based on proof, not based on what happened before, but based purely on choice in this exact moment. Who are you? Stay with me here, because this is where it gets profound. When you have no memory, when you have no past, when you have no story, you realize something shocking. Identity is a choice, not a fact, not a reality, a choice. Without your memories, you're not anything. You're pure potential, pure possibility, a blank canvas, an empty page. And whoever you decide to be in that moment, that's who you are. Not because you built it, not because you earned it, not because you have evidence, but because you chose it. Let me ask you again. You have complete memory loss. No past, no history, no story. And someone asks, who are you? Are you confident? Then you're confident. That's just who you are. You don't need to remember moments of confidence to be confident. You don't need proof. You don't need evidence. You just are. Are you wealthy? Then you're wealthy. You don't need to remember earning money. You don't need to trace the path from poor to rich. You don't need to justify it or explain it. You just are. Are you loved? Then you're loved. You don't need to remember people loving you. You don't need to reference past relationships. You don't need proof that anyone cares. You just are. Are you successful, powerful, peaceful, healthy, free, beautiful, worthy, enough? Then you are. Right now. in this moment, because you have no past telling you otherwise. You have no memories contradicting you. You have no story arguing against you. You just are. This is the power of complete forgetting. You're not building a new identity on top of the old one. You're wiping the slate completely clean and choosing who you are from absolute nothing. And the person you choose to be, that's real, that's true, that's you. Not because of what you've done or what's happened or what people have said, but because you decided. Here's what I need you to understand. That past, it only has power because you keep giving it power. It only defines you because you keep letting it define you. Every time you say, I'm not confident because I remember being shy, you're choosing your past over your present. Every time you say, I can't be wealthy because I've always struggled, you're letting old memories override your current choice. Every time you say, I'm not lovable because I remember being rejected, you're making the past more real than the now. But what if you stopped doing that? What if you treated your past like it happened to someone else? What if you looked at your memories the way you'd look at someone else's story, interesting but not relevant to who you are right now? Because here's the truth that will set you free. Your past doesn't determine your identity unless you let it. Your history doesn't define who you are unless you choose to let it define you. Your memories don't control your present unless you give them that control. You could right now in this moment forget all of it. Not literally erase the memories, but forget them in the sense of releasing their grip on your identity. Forget them in the sense of no longer letting them vote on who you are. You could decide that who you were yesterday, last week, last year, 10 years ago, that person is gone. That story is over. That version of you is finished. And right now you're someone completely different. Not because you slowly transformed. Not because you worked hard to change. But because you simply forgot the old identity and chose a new one. Let me show you what you've been doing your whole life without realizing it. You wake up every morning, and before you even open your eyes fully, you remember who you are. You remember your name, you remember your life, you remember your struggles and your victories. You remember how you are, what you're like, what you can and can't do. And in remembering all of this, you step back into the identity you had yesterday. You put on the same personality like putting on the same clothes. You become the same person again. Then throughout your day, you reinforce this identity constantly. You think thoughts that match who you remember being. You make decisions based on who you've always been. You react to situations the way you've always reacted. You speak the way you've always spoken. And every time you do this, you strengthen the identity. You make it more solid, more real, more you. But here's what's wild. That identity, it's not you. It's a story, a collection of selected memories that you've decided to call me. You chose which experiences to remember, which to emphasize, which to let define you. You constructed this identity piece by piece, memory by memory, experience by experience. And now you're trapped in it. Because you keep remembering it. You keep referencing it. You keep going back to it. You want to be confident, but you keep remembering being shy. You want to be wealthy, but you keep remembering struggling. You want to be loved, but you keep remembering rejection. The new identity can't take hold because you won't let go of the old one. You're trying to be two people at once, and it's tearing you apart. So, here's what you're going to do instead. You're going to practice selective forgetting, strategic amnesia, deliberate memory loss. Every morning when you wake up, before you think about your day, before you step back into who you were yesterday, you're going to take a moment to forget. Close your eyes, take a breath, and imagine that overnight while you were sleeping, all your memories of who you've been just dissolved. Evaporated, disappeared. You don't remember being insecure. Gone. You don't remember struggling. Erased. You don't remember being rejected. Vanished. You don't remember failing. Deleted. All the memories that formed your old identity, they're just not there anymore. Like they happened to someone else in another life. Or like they never happened at all. And in this space of complete forgetfulness, you ask yourself, who am I? Not who was I? Not who have I been? Who am I right now in this moment, with no past to reference? And you choose freely, completely, with no guilt, no doubt, no contradiction. I am confident. Say it, feel it, know it. Not as something you're becoming, not as something you're trying to convince yourself of, but a simple truth. You are confident. That's just who you are. No story needed. I am wealthy. Say it, feel it, know it. You don't need to remember being wealthy. You don't need to trace the path. You just are, right now. Present tense, current reality. I am loved. Say it, feel it, know it. You don't need proof. You don't need evidence. You don't need anyone's validation. You just are. Whatever identity you desire, claim it. Not as future, not as hope, but as present fact. Because you've forgotten everything that said you weren't. Spend time just being this person. No history, no proof, no story, no justification. Pure identity, pure being, pure choice. Here's what makes this so powerful. When you truly forget who you were, you don't need proof of who you are. You just are. Think about it. Someone with real memory loss doesn't say, I think I might be confident, but let me check my past to see if there's evidence. They can't check their past. It's gone. So whatever they feel themselves to be in the present moment, that's what they are. No verification needed. This is the consciousness you're cultivating. You're not building an identity on past achievements. You're not waiting for evidence to confirm who you are. You're not looking for proof in your history. You're simply choosing who you are right now, and that choice is enough. Complete, total, final. No proof needed, no evidence required, no history necessary. Just pure present moment identity chosen from complete forgetfulness of everything that said you were anything else. And when you claim identity this way, from nothing, from emptiness, from pure choice, it's unshakable. Because there's no past to contradict it. No memory to argue with it, no story to undermine it. You just are. And that's that. Now let me take you even deeper. Because there's a level of forgetting that most people never reach. A level that completely transforms how you experience reality. You're not just forgetting who you were. You're forgetting that you ever needed to become anything. Most people approach identity change like this. I am this now, but I want to become that. They acknowledge their current state and then try to get to a new state. They see themselves on a journey from lack to fulfillment, from limitation to freedom, from unworthiness to worthiness. But when you forget completely, you realize there is no journey, there is no becoming, there is no gap between who you are and who you want to be. There's only choosing right now, in this moment, with complete amnesia about any state other than the one you're selecting. You don't remember ever being unconfident, so you're not becoming confident, you just are confident. You don't remember ever lacking, so you're not becoming abundant, you just are abundant. You don't remember ever being unloved, so you're not becoming loved, you just are loved. The entire concept of transformation dissolves when you forget, because transformation implies movement from one state to another. But if you have no memory of the first state, there's no movement, there's just being. This is the deepest level of forgetting. Forgetting not just your past identity, but forgetting that you were ever anything other than what you choose to be right now. And from this place of complete forgetfulness, identity becomes instantaneous. Not a process, not a journey, not a gradual shift. Instant, immediate. Now, here's a practice that will deepen this even further. Throughout your day-to-day, act as if you just arrived in your life, like you just woke up in this body, in this situation, with no memory of how you got here. You look around and you see your apartment, your job, your relationships, your bank account, your body, and you have no idea how any of it came to be. You don't remember the choices that led here. You don't remember the past that created this present. You're just here, now, with complete forgetfulness of the journey. And from this place of complete newness, you ask yourself, how do I want to respond to this situation as the person I am now? Not how have I always responded. Not what does my past say I should do, but who am I right now, and how does this version of me move through this moment? Someone at work treats you poorly. Normally you might remember past instances of this, might recall your history of being walked over, might respond from the identity of someone who accepts mistreatment. But you've forgotten. You don't remember being that person. So you respond as who you are now, confident, worthy, clear about your boundaries. Not because you worked up the courage, but because you forgot you were ever anything else. You check your bank account and see a number that would normally trigger lack consciousness. But you've forgotten scarcity. You don't remember struggling. So you look at the number with complete neutrality and choose, I am abundant. This number is irrelevant to who I am. You wake up alone and would normally feel the weight of loneliness, the memory of rejection, the story of being unwanted. But you've forgotten all of it. So you wake up as someone who is loved, who is wanted, who is chosen, regardless of who's physically in the bed. Every moment becomes a fresh start. Every interaction becomes a new choice. Every experience becomes an opportunity to forget and choose again. This practice, this constant forgetting and choosing, gives you something most people never experience in their entire lives. Complete freedom from your past. You're not a prisoner of your history. You're not defined by your experiences. You're not limited by who you've been. You're not trapped in patterns that have repeated for years or decades. Every single moment you forget. Every single moment you choose fresh. Every single moment you are whoever you decide to be with no reference to anything that came before. This is power. Real power. Not the power to control others or circumstances, but the power to choose your own identity independent of anything external. You're not at the mercy of your memories. You're not controlled by your past. You're not determined by your conditioning. You're free. Completely, totally, absolutely free. Free to be confident even though you were shy. Free to be abundant even though you struggled. Free to be loved even though you were rejected. Free to be powerful even though you were weak. Free to be successful even though you failed. Because you forgot. And in forgetting you became unlimited. The limitations were just memories you kept reinforcing. The unworthiness was just a story you kept telling. The lack was just an identity you kept choosing. Now you're choosing differently. By forgetting completely and being fully. This is your power. This is your freedom. This is your truth. You're not becoming someone new. You're forgetting you were ever anyone old. And in that forgetting, you're discovering who you've always been, beneath all the stories, beneath all the memories, beneath all the conditioning. Pure consciousness. Pure being. Pure unlimited potential. Now go forget. And in forgetting, become everything you've always known you could be. The rest of your life starts now. And remember, you don't need to remember anything to be everything. In fact, the less you remember, the more you become. So forget completely, radically, constantly. And watch as your entire reality shifts to match the person you choose to be right now, in this moment, with no past to contradict you. This is who you are. This has always been who you are. You just forgot to forget. Now you know. Thank you, and good evening. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures, and I'll see you in the next video. Everything you are facing right now is not working against you. It is working for you. Even when life feels uncertain, even when nothing seems to align, there is a greater orchestration unfolding behind the scenes. The unseen movement is often the most powerful. Just because you cannot see the shift doesn't mean the shift isn't happening. God is aligning every detail, every person, every opportunity, every event to lead you into the victory already written with your name on it. Your faith is not a request, it is a command to reality. When you assume the feeling of success, you invite the outcome to take form. The world you hope for exists first within your spirit. As you nurture that inner certainty, the physical world has no choice but to mirror it. Faith is the bridge that brings the unseen into the seen. Right now, what appears to be a setback is actually a setup. The delay you feel is divine timing arranging the best possible path. The door that closed did not close because you were unworthy. It closed because what's meant for you is greater than anything you have lost. God removes what would limit you and replaces it with what will elevate you. Never doubt the power at work within you. The moment you declare something as yours, heaven begins shifting circumstances to fulfill that declaration. Believe in the promise more than you fear the process. When you hold the end result in your heart, when you feel it as real, you become aligned with the miracle. Faith does not wait for proof. Faith is the proof. There is a version of you that God already sees. Victorious, fulfilled, abundant, that version is trying to emerge. The discomfort you feel is transformation. The uncertainty you feel is transition. Just as dawn follows the darkest hour, breakthrough follows pressure. Nothing is falling apart, everything is falling into place. So refuse to speak defeat. Refuse to imagine loss. Refuse to settle for anything less than the life God has designed for you. The victory is not coming, it has already been given. Your role is simply to remain faithful until what is promised becomes what is visible. Stand firm in your inner knowing. Celebrate the miracle before it arrives. Live in the feeling of answered prayer. God is shifting everything for your victory. Even now, even here, even if you cannot see it yet. Hold your faith. You are closer than you think. Your inner belief is the birthplace of your victory. Reality is responding to your faith. Before anything changes around you, something must first shift within you. Every breakthrough, every answered prayer, every blessing you will ever experience begins as a quiet conviction in your heart. It starts as a thought you choose to believe, a vision you dare to see, a promise you decide belongs to you. The world outside is only a reflection of the world you continuously nurture inside. When you change the beliefs you hold about yourself, you transform the outcomes you experience in life. Life is not merely responding to your actions, it is responding to your assumptions. If you assume defeat, you create the conditions for defeat. If you assume victory, every part of life starts aligning to confirm that assumption. There is power in the beliefs you repeat to yourself when no one is watching. Your expectations shape what you attract. Your inner dialogue shapes the opportunities that show up. Your belief is not small or invisible. It is a force that bends circumstances into agreement. Every moment you picture yourself succeeding. Every time you choose hope over fear. Every time you speak life into your future, you are planting seeds that must eventually grow. You do not need to know how it will unfold. The how is never your responsibility. Your only job is to hold the vision and walk as if it is already done. Faith is not waiting with doubt. Faith is living from the truth that what you desire is already yours. When you treat your dream as real in the unseen, it becomes real in the seen. Your victory doesn't come when someone applauds you. It doesn't come when opportunities finally appear or when results start showing. It comes the moment you decide within your spirit that success is your destiny. That decision begins rewriting your story. It changes the doors that open, the relationships that enter, the strength rises within you, and the confidence that carries you through challenges. The moment you change your inner belief, your life has to follow. There will be moments when your faith is tested, moments when circumstances look opposite to what you believe. But that is the precise moment you must stand firm in your inner truth. The physical world often takes a little longer to catch up with the spiritual transformation already underway. What you see right now is not the final chapter. It is only the proof that a shift is taking place. Pressure means progress. Resistance means you are close. So guard your belief with persistence. Speak your victory more often than your fears. Feed your spirit with images of possibility, not evidence of limitation. Believe so deeply that the world has to agree. You are not a passive observer in your story. You are the author. And every time you choose faith over doubt, every time you align your emotions with what you desire instead of what you fear, you write a future that reflects your inner conviction. Victory does not start on the outside. It begins in the invisible chambers of your mind and heart. And as you hold unwavering belief in who you are meant to be, life will rise to meet that belief. Reality is listening. Reality is responding. And your inner faith is leading you exactly where you are destined to go. What looks like delay is divine rearrangement, preparation for fulfillment. When life makes you wait, it is not because you have been forgotten. It is because something sacred is being aligned for you. Every season of delay carries purpose, even if the purpose is invisible in the moment. Just like seeds are buried before they bloom, your dreams sometimes require a period of darkness and stillness before they emerge in full beauty. What feels like nothing happening is often everything happening beneath the surface. The human mind wants quick results. We want answers today. Doors open now, miracles on our schedule. But destiny is not rushed. The process that leads to your blessing is often more important than the blessing itself. There are lessons you must grow through, strengths that must be developed, people you must release, and new environments you must enter. Delay is not denial. It is refining, restructuring, and redirecting you into the precise position where fulfillment can find you. When a delay appears, it is easy to slip into frustration or discouragement. You may think nothing is working or that your prayers have been ignored, but the truth is much deeper. The timing of your breakthrough is being designed with perfection. If the blessing came too early, you might not recognize it, handle it well, or even keep it. If the opportunity arrived before you were ready, it could overwhelm instead of elevate. The waiting season ensures that when the door opens, you walk through it with confidence, stability, and wisdom. There are people who must exit your life before your next level begins. There are relationships that must be healed, mindsets that must be renewed, patience that must be tested. Delay is the divine way of clearing out what does not belong in your calling. God rearranges the pieces, moves situations around, and prepares the path long before you step onto it. Every change you face is a step in the orchestration. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. You may feel stuck, but the truth is you are being positioned. You may feel like you're going in circles, but something is moving on your behalf. The uncomfortable transitions, the unexpected setbacks, the closed doors, these are signs that the rearrangement is happening. When construction is taking place inside your life, things can look messy for a while, But once the building is complete, the beauty of the design becomes undeniable. Trust the timing of your transformation. Trust that what is meant for you cannot pass you. Trust that if it is delayed, it is because it is being perfected. You are not waiting for something small. You are waiting for something aligned with your highest calling. The waiting is preparing you to appreciate the blessing, to recognize its value, and to sustain it once it arrives. The delay is strengthening your faith so that nothing can shake you when destiny manifests. What seems stuck is actually moving. What feels slow is secretly accelerating. What appears like a setback is setting the foundation for a greater comeback. Hold on to your vision. Stay grounded in your belief. Keep walking with expectation. Fulfillment is not just coming, it is being arranged to meet you at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. Your imagination is a spiritual blueprint. Picture the result as already yours. Everything you desire must first be built in the unseen realm of thought and belief before it can materialize in the physical world. Your imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. The images you hold in your mind shape your destiny. The feelings you associate with those images bring them to life. When you dare to imagine yourself victorious, healed, successful, and fulfilled, you are drafting the very blueprint that reality must follow. Most people wait to see change before they believe it, but true power comes from believing first. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is lived. Whatever you consistently picture and feel becomes imprinted on your subconscious. And the subconscious is the engine that drives your actions, your habits, your energy, your attraction, and your outcomes. When you imagine the end result is already achieved, you align every part of your being with that destiny. Your imagination is your direct line to the divine. Every inspired thought is a signal from a higher dimension urging you forward. Vision is a preview of what is possible. It is a sneak peek into the future prepared for you. If you can see it in your mind and believe it in your spirit, you can hold it in your hands. The moment you picture the fulfillment of your desire and feel gratitude as if it already exists, you activate a spiritual law. The inner reality must become the outer reality. There is tremendous creative power hidden in the simple act of imagining. When you visualize your dream home, your thriving career, your restored health, your loving relationships, you begin creating the emotional experience of already having them. And that emotional frequency attracts people, situations, and opportunities that match its vibration. You begin to notice doors that were always there but previously invisible. You start moving differently, speaking differently, showing up differently, because your mind has already accepted the success as truth. Do not allow doubt or fear to hijack your imagination. Those negative images also create limitation. If you imagine failure, you invite failure. If you imagine loss, you prepare the world to confirm that expectation. Protect the sacred power of your inner vision. Replace every thought of what if it doesn't happen with what if everything goes right. Train your imagination to hold the picture of the outcome you want, not the circumstances you fear. Make your vision so clear, so alive, so emotionally real that the world must rise to meet it. Return to that image daily, especially when reality contradicts it. Your imagination is the container for your future. It is where the dream lives before it becomes flesh. Never underestimate the creative force within your thoughts. You are not dreaming for no reason. That desire exists because a version of you already lives that experience. Your imagination is simply introducing you to the future you are meant to step into. So hold the picture. Feel the fulfillment. Walk as if the promise has already been delivered. Your blueprint is ready and reality is building exactly what you dare to imagine. Closed doors are not rejection, they are protection and redirection toward destiny. When something you wanted doesn't work out, when an opportunity slips away, or when a path you believed was right suddenly closes, it can feel like the universe is against you. But often, the doors that shut are doing you a favor. They are preventing you from entering spaces that are not aligned with your purpose or prepared for your greatness. What looks like loss is sometimes divine shielding. There are roads that might seem perfect in the moment, but if you walk down them, they would eventually limit you, drain you, or delay your real breakthrough. Some environments are too small for the version of you that is becoming. Some relationships cannot carry the weight of your calling. Some opportunities would have given you comfort but stolen your growth. So the door closes because your destiny is too significant to settle for what is convenient. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is a redirection toward your higher path. You are being guided away from distractions, detours, and dead ends. You are being steered toward divine appointments that are bigger and better than what you initially expected. The job you didn't get, the person who walked away, the plan that failed, each one is a step closer to the life that is meant to manifest for you. Every no is clearing space for a more powerful yes. Closed doors build resilience and clarity. They help you discover who you truly are by pushing you to reflect, adapt, and evolve. They teach you what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Every time you face a rejection, you are also being given a revelation. You are not supposed to stay where you are. You are meant to rise higher. The discomfort you feel is an invitation to grow. You may feel like something has been taken from you, but what if something better is being prepared? What if the delay is positioning you in front of the right people at the right time in the right place? A closed door can save you from heartbreak, from wasted years, from experiences that would have dimmed your light. You might not see the protection now, but one day you will look back and be thankful that certain prayers were not answered the way you imagined. There is a purpose to every pause. There is meaning behind every ending. Life is not breaking you, it is building you. When a chapter finishes, it is because a greater one is ready to begin. Trust that the universe is removing what is not meant for your destiny and making room for the blessings designed specifically for you. Instead of asking, "Why did this door close?" begin saying, "Thank you for guiding me to something better." Stand with faith, not frustration. Speak hope, not doubt. Honor the transition, because movement is happening even when you cannot see it. A closed door is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of a new direction. What seems like rejection is simply protection. And where you are being redirected is exactly where your destiny has been waiting for you all along. Your current challenges are signals of breakthrough. The shift is already in motion. The very pressure you are experiencing is proof that something powerful is changing within and around you. when life intensifies, when obstacles multiply, when uncertainty rises, it is not a sign that things are falling apart. It is a sign that transformation is taking place. Breakthrough always shows up wearing the disguise of difficulty. The resistance you feel is the indicator that you are pushing against an old reality that can no longer contain who you are becoming. Think about any great change in nature. The seed must break apart for the plant to emerge. The caterpillar must endure the cocoon before it becomes the butterfly. Pressure precedes expansion. Darkness precedes dawn. When everything around you feels chaotic or uncomfortable, it is because the old structures are collapsing so the new can rise. You are outgrowing spaces that once fit you. Your soul is calling you forward. Challenges are not meant to stop you, they are meant to strengthen you. Every obstacle is preparing you with the character, wisdom, and resilience required for your next level. You are learning persistence, patience, courage, qualities that only reveal themselves through experience. If your journey were too easy, you would never discover the power you carried. If nothing tested you, nothing would change in you. The struggle is shaping you into the person who can hold the blessing you've been praying for. Right now, it may feel like everything is being delayed or denied, but look deeper. Subtle shifts are happening. Doors you wouldn't have noticed before are beginning to appear. New ideas, new people, new directions are aligning. The discomfort is showing you that the chapter you're in is ending and the next chapter is ready to begin. The shift is not coming someday. It is already unfolding with every step you take, with every thought you transform, with every moment you choose faith over fear. What if the challenge you're facing is the very key that unlocks your blessing? What if the pain is the pathway to purpose? You were not created to be defeated by the problems in your life. You were created to rise through them. Challenges are a sign that your story is advancing, not ending. They are evidence that you are close to something greater than what you have known. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Instead of shrinking in fear, stand in the truth that progress is happening even when progress isn't visible. You are not stuck, you are transitioning. You are not losing, you are leveling up. The very force pushing against you is the force pushing you forward. Breakthrough is not a fantasy, it is forming right now. Hold on to your faith. Keep moving. Keep believing. The shift has already begun, and the challenges you are facing today will soon become the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. What is ahead is worth everything you are pushing through. Breakthrough is not far away. It is already in motion. Hold the end result in your heart. Your faith is the force that completes the miracle. The moment you receive a desire deeply within your spirit, the miracle begins. It doesn't start when the evidence appears or when the world finally agrees with you. It begins the second you accept the outcome as already yours. Faith is not a passive hope. It is an active knowing. It is the bold decision to live from the result instead of waiting for the result. When your heart fully embraces the fulfillment, reality has no option but to rise and match your conviction. So many dreams go unfulfilled because people keep waiting for permission to believe. They wait for signs, for guarantees, for validation. But faith does not ask for proof. Faith is the proof. It is the inward certainty that turns the invisible into the inevitable. When you hold the end result in your heart with unwavering trust, you align your thoughts, your energy, and your actions with that destiny. You begin behaving like someone who has already won. You speak differently, you walk differently, you expect differently, and those expectations create the pathway for the miracle to manifest. Doubt is the only thing that can interrupt what has already been set in motion. If you release the belief, you slow the blessing. But if you remain rooted in the end, if you choose belief over every negative story your mind tries to tell you, the promise you hold will take shape. The delay does not weaken the miracle. Your disbelief does. Stay faithful when nothing looks like it's changing. Stand firm in your vision when everything seems to contradict it. Victory starts within and then moves outward. Faith is the spiritual law that governs manifestation. What you feel as real must eventually become real. Your imagination is the first stage of creation, and faith is what completes the work. You do not chase the miracle, you embody it. You live in the emotional state of already done. Gratitude becomes your language, joy becomes your posture, and confidence becomes your atmosphere. When you hold that state, circumstances shift, people align, opportunities appear, and the blessing is drawn directly to you. This is why you cannot give up in the middle. The silent months matter. The unseen progress matters. Every day you choose to believe, even without results, you are strengthening the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Your consistency in faith is building the future you've prayed for. Every moment of trust is a brick placed in the structure of your destiny. You do not need to see how the miracle will happen. You only need to see the miracle as already complete in your heart. Do not allow your senses to decide your future. Allow your spirit to lead it. Hold the end result so tightly in your inner world that nothing in the outer world can shake it. Faith is not waiting to receive. Faith is knowing you already have it. The moment you refuse to let go of the vision is the moment the miracle becomes unstoppable. Your faith is the finishing touch. It is the force that calls the promise into form. And as long as you keep believing, the miracle must be completed. The journey to your victory is already unfolding, even in the moments that feel unclear or difficult. Every shift, every delay, every challenge is working for your good. You are not walking alone. A higher power is guiding your path, arranging the right people, preparing the right opportunities, and shaping you into the person who can fully receive what is coming. Your faith is the key that unlocks the future designed for you. Hold the vision, live from the end, trust the unseen. Because everything you desire has already begun its journey toward you. Victory is not a distant dream. It is a reality forming right now. What is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed forever, or destroyed. You are being prepared for a life that reflects your inner belief, a life of purpose, abundance, peace, and fulfillment. Stand boldly in that truth. Celebrate the promise before it shows up. Because when you choose faith over fear, the miracle must find you. Thank you for listening. Stay encouraged, stay expectant, and never lose faith. Your victory is already on the way.
Listen closely, for I am about to reveal something that will change everything you believe about yourself and your place in this world. There exists a secret that the truly magnetic understand, those who never beg, never chase, never diminish themselves for crumbs of attention. They know something you have forgotten. You see, my friend, you have been living as though you are a beggar in the marketplace of life, desperately holding out your cup, hoping someone will drop a coin of recognition into it. But what you fail to realize is that you are the marketplace. You are not the beggar, you are the treasure everyone seeks. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to awaken from this poverty consciousness and step into your true nature as the prize itself. But more than that, I'm going to show you the exact mental techniques that will transform you from someone who begs to be chosen into someone who chooses. For years, you have operated under a fundamental misunderstanding. You have believed that your worth is something external, something to be proven, earned, validated by others. This is the great lie that keeps you small. Let me tell you something that will shake you to your core. Every single person who has ever made you feel less was unconsciously reflecting back to you your own inner poverty. They sensed your need, your desperation, your hunger for validation, and instinctively, they withdrew. Not because they are cruel, but because neediness repels, while self-possession attracts. In your imagination, and remember, imagination is the creative power of God within you. You have seen yourself as lacking, as incomplete, as someone who needs another's approval to be whole. But I ask you, when you look in the mirror of your mind, do you see a beggar or a king? The truth is this: every person you encounter is simply a reflection of the state you occupy within yourself. When you assume the feeling of being chosen, of being valuable, of being someone whose very presence is a gift, the world mirrors this back to you without fail. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share next will completely transform how you move through the world. There is an ancient secret that the mystics knew, that royalty understood instinctively, that the truly powerful have always embodied: the secret of self-possession. When you possess yourself completely, your emotions, your energy, your attention, you become a force that others naturally want to orbit around. Think of the most magnetic person you've ever encountered. I guarantee you, they had this quality. They weren't trying to impress anyone. They weren't performing for approval. They simply were, completely, authentically, unapologetically themselves. And in that authentic presence, they became irresistible. But here's what most people don't understand. This quality isn't something you're born with or without. It's a state of consciousness you can cultivate. It's a way of being you can learn. And once you master it, your entire life transforms. There is a state of consciousness, let's call it the state of inner royalty, that you must learn to inhabit. In this state, you do not question your worth any more than the sun questions its right to shine. You simply are. When you truly occupy this state, something remarkable happens. You stop performing for others' approval. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Instead, you move through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows their value is not up for debate. I have observed this phenomenon countless times. The person who needs nothing from others receives everything. The person who can walk away maintains all the power. The person who values their own company finds themselves surrounded by those who recognize quality. But here's what most people don't understand. This is not about becoming cold or distant. This is about becoming so full of your own divine nature that you overflow with genuine presence, not desperate need. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this perfectly. I once knew a woman who transformed her entire social circle simply by changing her inner state. She had been the one everyone called when they needed something. A shoulder to cry on, money to borrow, someone to listen to their problems. She was always available, always giving, always there. And yet she felt invisible. She felt taken for granted. She felt like an option, not a priority. Here's what she did that changed everything. And you can do this too. This woman decided to conduct an experiment for 40 days. Instead of assuming she was someone who needed to give to be valued, she began to assume she was someone whose very presence was valuable. Every morning she would spend 10 minutes imagining herself as someone who was naturally cherished, respected, and sought after. She didn't change her external behavior dramatically. She simply changed her inner assumption about herself. And within 2 weeks, everything shifted. The people who had been taking her for granted began reaching out more intentionally. New people entered her life who treated her with the respect she had been giving herself internally. By the end of 40 days, her entire social reality had transformed. But here's the key. She didn't try to change others. She changed her concept of herself, and others responded to that change automatically. This is the power of assumption. This is the law of consciousness, made manifest. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you are a rare diamond. Now, does this diamond chase after people, begging them to recognize its brilliance? Does it diminish its sparkle to make cheaper stones feel better about themselves? Of course not. It simply exists in its perfect state, and those with eyes to see are naturally drawn to its beauty. This is what I call sacred detachment, the ability to love without clinging, to care without losing yourself, to desire without desperation. When you master this art, you become magnetic in a way that cannot be manufactured or faked. Sacred detachment is not indifference. It's not coldness. It's not playing hard to get. It's something far more profound. It's the recognition that your completeness doesn't depend on anyone else's participation in your life. When you are complete within yourself, others sense this wholeness and are drawn to it. They want to be part of something whole, rather than trying to fill someone's emptiness. But here's where most people go wrong. And if you're making this mistake, everything I've shared so far won't work. Many people, when they first hear about detachment, make a crucial error. They try to detach by building walls, by becoming cold, by pretending not to care. This is false detachment, and it actually pushes people away, not because of your power, but because of your fear. True detachment comes from love. Love of yourself, love of life, love of truth. It comes from being so full that you don't need to extract anything from others to feel complete. False detachment comes from hurt. Hurt that masquerades as strength. Pain that pretends to be power. The difference is this. True detachment attracts because it feels like freedom. False detachment repels because it feels like a prison. You see, many people confuse detachment with indifference. They think being unavailable means being cold or playing games. But true detachment comes from a place of fullness, not emptiness. It comes from loving yourself so completely that you no longer need to extract love from others to feel whole. When you truly love yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a divine way, recognizing yourself as a magnificent expression of the infinite, you create what I call a magnetic field of self-love. This field draws to you experiences and people that match your level of self-regard. Think of it this way. If you were a radio station, what frequency would you be broadcasting? Would it be the frequency of please love me, or would it be the frequency of I am love itself? The frequency you broadcast is the frequency you receive back. Most people are broadcasting need, lack, desperation, and then they wonder why they attract people who are unavailable, uncommitted, or disrespectful. But when you broadcast completeness, wholeness, self-love, you attract people who recognize and match that energy. Here's a practical technique I want you to master. Every morning, before you interact with anyone, I want you to tune into your inner frequency. Ask yourself, what am I broadcasting right now? Am I broadcasting need or wholeness? Am I broadcasting desperation or completion? If you sense that you're broadcasting from a place of lack, if you're hoping this day will bring you the validation you crave, if you're anxious about whether someone will text you back, if you're looking for others to fill the emptiness inside you, then stop. Don't go into the world broadcasting that frequency. Instead, spend time filling yourself up, not with external things, but with the recognition of your own divine nature. Feel what it's like to be completely loved by the universe itself. Feel what it's like to be someone whose very existence is precious and valuable. Only when you're broadcasting wholeness should you engage with others. This single shift will transform every interaction you have. Now I want you to understand something crucial about the nature of reality. Everything you experience in your outer world is a direct result of the assumptions you hold about yourself in your inner world. If you assume you are an option, the world will treat you as such. If you assume you are indispensable, that too will be reflected back to you. This is not positive thinking or wishful fantasy. This is spiritual law. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything else is its projection. So I ask you, what have you been assuming about yourself? Have you been living in the assumption that you must prove your worth, that you must earn love, that you must compete for attention? If so, you have been creating from a state of lack, and lack is all that can be returned to you. But assumptions can be changed. And when you change your assumptions about yourself, you literally change your reality. What I'm about to tell you next might sound impossible, but I assure you, it's the most practical thing you'll ever learn. There are 3 sacred assumptions that will transform your life if you embody them completely. First, sacred assumption. I am inherently valuable, not because of what you do, not because of what you achieve, not because of who validates you. You are valuable because you exist. You are valuable because consciousness itself chose to express through you. This assumption must become as natural to you as breathing. Second sacred assumption. My presence is a gift. When you enter a room, you are not hoping to receive something. You are bringing something. Your energy, your consciousness, your unique perspective, these are gifts you bring to any interaction. Feel this truth until it becomes automatic. Third sacred assumption. I choose, I am not chosen. You are not at the mercy of others' decisions about you. You are not waiting to be picked. You are the one doing the selecting. You are the one deciding who gets access to your energy, your time, your presence. When these 3 assumptions become your natural state, everything changes. You stop being a seeker and become a selector. You stop being needy and become magnetic. Here's something I want you to try tonight. Before you sleep, I want you to revise your day, not just the events, but your entire relationship to yourself throughout those events. Remember that moment when you felt ignored. Revise it. See yourself as someone whose presence commanded attention, not through effort, but through natural magnetism. Remember when you felt like you were chasing. Revise it. See yourself as someone so centered in their own worth that others are drawn to orbit around your energy. But don't just revise the external events. Revise your internal state. Revise how you felt about yourself in those moments. Instead of feeling needy, feel complete. Instead of feeling desperate, feel centered. Instead of feeling like you're not enough, feel like you are more than enough. This is not self-deception. This is training your consciousness to occupy the state of the person you are meant to be. And as you persist in this assumption, your outer world must conform to match it. The person who knows they are valuable stops acting from scarcity. They stop overgiving. They stop tolerating disrespect. They stop being available to everyone and start being precious to the few who truly see them. And here's a secret that will accelerate your transformation. The secret of mental rehearsal. Before any important interaction, before a date, before a meeting, before any social situation, spend time mentally rehearsing from your new state. But don't rehearse what you'll say or do. Rehearse who you'll be. See yourself moving through that interaction as someone who knows their worth. Feel what it's like to be completely comfortable in your own skin. Imagine the other person responding to your energy of self-possession with respect and interest. This isn't about manipulating outcomes. This is about training yourself to naturally embody the state of someone who is valued and respected. And when you consistently embody that state, it becomes your reality. There is something deeply attractive about a person who possesses themselves completely. They do not leak their energy in desperate attempts to be seen. They do not scatter their attention among those who barely notice. Instead, they contain their power like a vessel holds water, full, complete, overflowing, only when they choose to pour. I have noticed that people are drawn to mystery, to depth, to that which cannot be easily grasped or controlled. When you become self-possessed, you naturally become mysterious. Not because you're trying to hide, but because you're no longer trying to expose everything about yourself to gain approval. Here's the paradox that will change everything for you. The more you need to be chosen, the less likely you are to be chosen. The more you need to be seen, the more invisible you become. But the moment you withdraw your need from others and become complete within yourself, you become irresistible. This is because people are unconsciously drawn to wholeness. They can sense when someone is not trying to get something from them, and this absence of neediness creates space for genuine connection to emerge. Think about it this way. When someone is desperately trying to get something from you, your approval, your attention, your validation, how does it feel? It feels heavy, draining, uncomfortable. You instinctively want to pull away. But when someone is complete within themselves, when they're not trying to extract anything from you, when they're simply present and authentic, how does that feel? It feels refreshing, inspiring, magnetic. You want to be around that energy. This is the paradox. The less you need from others, the more they want to give to you. I want you to conduct what I call an energy audit of your life. Look at your relationships, your interactions, your daily habits, and ask yourself, am I giving my energy away freely, or am I being selective about how I invest it? Most people are energy spendthrifts. They give their attention to anyone who asks for it. They engage with every drama, respond to every demand, make themselves available to every person who shows even slight interest. And then they wonder why they feel drained and undervalued. But valuable things are scarce. If your energy is available to everyone, it becomes worthless. If your attention can be captured by anyone, it loses its power. If your presence is guaranteed regardless of how you're treated, it stops being precious. The energy audit will show you where you've been undervaluing yourself. Once you see this clearly, you can begin to make different choices. The next principle I'm going to share is so powerful, it can change your life in 24 hours. Here's a challenge that will immediately shift how others perceive you. For the next 24 hours, I want you to act as if you are already the most valued person in your own life. Not arrogantly, not rudely, but with quiet dignity. This means you don't explain your decisions to people who haven't earned that level of intimacy with you. You don't argue with anyone about your worth or try to convince them to see your value. You don't make yourself available to everyone who demands your attention. You don't settle for treatment that doesn't match your inner dignity. You speak to yourself with the same respect you would show to someone you deeply admire. For just 24 hours, live as if you already know you're valuable. See what happens. I guarantee you'll be surprised by how differently people respond to you. Here's something beautiful I want you to understand. You don't have to earn love. Love is your natural state. You are love expressing itself in human form. The only reason you feel unloved is because you have forgotten this truth and have been looking for it in all the wrong places. When you assume you are love, not that you need love, but that you are love, your entire energy shifts. You stop being a seeker and become a source. People feel this shift immediately. They are drawn to your energy because it feels like coming home to themselves. But this assumption must be cultivated. It must be practiced. It must become as natural as breathing. Every morning when you wake, and every evening before you sleep, I want you to do this practice. Close your eyes and assume you are completely loved by the universe itself. Not conditionally loved based on your behavior or achievements, but unconditionally loved simply because you exist. Feel this love surrounding you like warm sunlight. As you feel this universal love, begin to extend that same love to yourself. Love yourself the way the universe loves you, completely, unconditionally, without reservation. From this state of being filled with love, imagine moving through your day. See yourself interacting with others, not from a place of need, but from a place of overflow. You're not trying to get love from them because you're already full of love. Practice this faithfully for 30 days, and watch how your relationships transform. When you stop seeking love and start being love, everything changes. When you truly understand your worth, chasing becomes impossible. Not because you've decided not to chase, but because the very idea of chasing feels foreign to who you are. Lions don't chase mice. The sun doesn't chase the planets. They simply exist in their power, and everything else responds accordingly. This is the state I want you to reach, not through force or effort, but through recognition. Recognition that you have always been enough. Recognition that you have value is not dependent on anyone else's acknowledgement. Recognition that you are the prize, and the right people will be honored to receive you. But let me be clear about what I mean by not chasing. I don't mean becoming passive or uninvolved in life. I mean operating from a place of fullness rather than emptiness, from wholeness rather than need. When you're complete within yourself, you can pursue what you want without desperation. You can express interest without neediness. You can take action without attachment to outcomes. This is the difference between inspired action and desperate chasing. Remember this always. Everyone in your life is reflecting back to you the relationship you have with yourself. The person who takes you for granted, they're showing you where you take yourself for granted. The person who doesn't see your worth, they're reflecting back areas where you don't see your own worth. This principle is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because it means you can't blame others for how they treat you. They're only mirroring your inner state. Empowering because it means you have complete control over how you're treated. By changing your relationship with yourself. When someone disrespects you, instead of getting angry at them, ask yourself, where am I disrespecting myself? When someone ignores you, ask, where am I ignoring my own needs? When someone treats you as an option, ask, where am I treating myself as an option? This is why changing others is impossible, but changing yourself changes everything. When you truly value yourself, you will only attract and accept people who value you. When you truly love yourself, you will only engage with love. When you truly respect yourself, respect is all that will be offered to you. There is a state of consciousness where you feel complete within yourself. In this state, other people become bonuses to your life, not necessities. Relationships become choices, not needs. Love becomes an overflow, not a requirement. From this state of completion, you naturally become selective, not because you're trying to be difficult, but because you can feel the difference between what nourishes you and what depletes you. You can sense who sees you clearly and who projects their fantasies onto you. This state of completion doesn't mean you don't desire connection with others. It means you don't need connection to feel whole. And paradoxically, this makes you much more attractive to others, because neediness repels while wholeness attracts. To cultivate this state, you must learn to be excellent company for yourself. You must enjoy your own thoughts, appreciate your own humor, find your own presence engaging. When you genuinely enjoy being alone with yourself, others will enjoy being with you too. As you begin to embody these truths, as you step into the state of knowing your worth, you will notice changes. Some people will fall away from your life. Those who were only there to consume your energy. Don't mourn their departure. Celebrate your freedom. Others will begin to treat you differently. They will seek your approval instead of you seeking theirs. They will compete for your attention instead of you fighting for recognition. They will value your time because you have shown them it's valuable. New people will enter your experience. People who match your new level of self-respect and self-love. These relationships will feel different, deeper, more authentic, because they're built on truth rather than need. But the most profound transformation will be internal. You'll stop waking up anxious about whether you're liked. You'll stop checking your phone desperately for validation. You'll stop analyzing every interaction for signs of approval or rejection. Instead, you'll wake up centered in your own worth. You'll move through your day from a place of fullness rather than emptiness. You'll engage with others from curiosity and care rather than need and desperation. This is your moment of choice. You can continue living as you have, seeking validation, chasing approval, diminishing yourself for crumbs of recognition, or you can step into the truth of who you really are. Someone so inherently valuable that your very existence is a gift to this world. The techniques I've shared are not theories to be pondered, but practices to be lived. Your transformation begins the moment you decide to see yourself as the universe sees you, as perfect, complete, and infinitely worthy of love. So I leave you with this. Stop asking to be chosen. Start choosing. Stop seeking to be seen. Start being so magnificently yourself that you cannot be ignored. The world has been waiting for you to remember who you are. Now go forth and claim your throne. It has been waiting for you all along.
There are moments in life where everything appears still. It feels like nothing is shifting, nothing is improving, nothing is moving. But beneath that silence, something divine is taking place. What you cannot see with your eyes, you must learn to trust with your heart. Because right now, yes, in this very moment, God has already made sure everything works in your favor. You are not walking through life alone. The very blueprint of your destiny has been written with perfection. Every setback was calculated, every disappointment was redirected, every delay was repositioning you for something better. The things you thought were working against you were actually working for you. Imagine this. The blessing you prayed for is already on its way. The shift you've been waiting for is already prepared. The opportunity you thought you lost wasn't meant for where you were, it was meant for where you're going. You didn't lose anything, you were upgraded. Your imagination is not a fantasy, it's a preview of your coming reality. When you dare to hold the vision, life begins organizing itself to match the picture you carry inside. The world around you must rearrange until it mirrors the world within you. Do not judge your life by appearances. What looks like a setback is a setup. What looks like a breakdown is a breakthrough. God is not asking you to understand every twist in the journey, only to trust that the destination is victory. Look back at your life for a moment. Think of every time you thought you were finished, yet you rose again. Every time you believed something was taken from you, yet something greater replaced it. That pattern is not coincidence. That is divine strategy. You are being guided by a power that knows exactly what you need and when you need it. A power that has already cleared the obstacles ahead. A power that ensures that nothing meant for you can ever pass you by. So today, walk with the boldness of someone who knows they are favored. Speak with the confidence of someone chosen for greatness. Expect miracles because you are living in the middle of one right now. Even if you cannot see the blessing, trust that it has already seen you. The story is already written, and the ending is already decided. Everything, absolutely everything, is working in your favor. Hold that truth within you. Your time is here. Your blessing is close. Your path is blessed. And God has already made sure you win. Divine alignment is already in motion, even when everything around you appears still. There are forces working on your behalf that you cannot yet see, arranging the circumstances, the people, the timing, and the opportunities you need. What you have asked for, prayed for, imagined, and held faithfully within your heart is already moving toward you. The universe doesn't respond to doubt or fear. It responds to the inner certainty that what you desire is already yours. Every day, life is shifting behind the scenes to ensure that what belongs to you finds its way to you. There are moments when you might assume nothing is happening simply because you don't see immediate results. But the invisible is more powerful than the visible. Roots grow long before the tree rises. Seeds transform beneath the soil long before they break through the ground. In the same way, your breakthrough is currently forming out of your sight. Trust that the unseen is active and alive with purpose. What looks like waiting is actually preparation. Many times, divine alignment shows up disguised as challenges or delays. What you interpret as a setback could be a redirection to something far better than what you originally expected. The door that closed was never meant for your destiny. The path that disappeared was leading you somewhere too small. Every perceived loss is simply a holy rearrangement of your life, angling you toward the version of yourself who is ready to receive more. Think of the people you haven't met yet, the opportunities you haven't encountered yet, the blessings that are already tagged with your name. They are all being positioned perfectly. Timing is orchestrated with precision. Nothing is random. That phone call you'll receive, the chance meeting that will change everything, the idea that will suddenly spark inside your mind, these are not accidents. These are the results of alignment unfolding. You are not waiting for the universe to catch up. The universe is waiting for you to believe. The moment you choose faith, you activate momentum. When you hold the end result in your imagination and feel the truth of it within your spirit, you become magnetized to your desires. The outer world reshapes itself to match the inner picture you have claimed as real. Every day, life is removing what doesn't serve your path and revealing what does. The confusion you feel is simply the shift creating order. When relationships fall away, understand that it is clearing space for deeper, more aligned connections. When opportunities dissolve, recognize that new and greater ones are forming right now. The path ahead is being smoothed, the mountains are being moved, and the waters are being parted. You do not have to force anything, you do not have to chase. What is for you will never require struggle to keep. Let the process unfold with trust. Stand firm, knowing that the divine has already gone before you, arranging every detail perfectly. You are being led, protected, guided, and lifted into your destiny. This is not the moment to fear. This is the moment to know that everything you desire is not only possible, it is already on its way, aligning itself with your life in the most miraculous way. Your imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is the blueprint of your reality. Every thought you consistently hold, every vision you embrace with feeling, is carving out a pathway in the unseen world, preparing for its emergence in the seen. Long before your dream becomes something you can touch, it exists vividly in the realm of imagination. What you see within is not make-believe. It is construction. It is creation. It is the future forming itself around your belief. So many people misunderstand imagination. They think it's something childlike or unrealistic. But imagination is the meeting point between the spiritual and the physical. It is the way the invisible becomes visible. When you close your eyes and picture the life you desire, when you see yourself already succeeding, already healed, already living in peace, you are stepping into a higher truth than the one your senses currently show you. Your senses only tell you what is. Imagination tells you what will be. You are not waiting for the world to change so you can believe in your dream. The moment you believe, the world begins to change. The inner picture comes first. The outer conditions simply catch up. Every advancement, every innovation, every new reality humans have ever created began as a thought, a picture formed internally before becoming a structure externally. The same is true for your own transformation. The life you desire will not arrive from the outside. It will arise from the inside. When you imagine intensely and consistently, your mind begins to think from the state of the wish already fulfilled. You begin to carry yourself as though what you want is already true. You speak differently, you walk differently. Your energy shifts, your expectations rise. Your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a physical one. It accepts what you give it as fact. And when that belief takes root, reality must rearrange itself to reflect it. Imagination is not escape, it is alignment. It aligns you with the version of yourself who already possesses what you desire. Each time you return to your inner vision, you strengthen that alignment. Doors begin to open, solutions emerge, people appear, synchronicities increase. Life starts saying yes to what you've already claimed as yours. Do not let temporary conditions dictate what you believe. If your current circumstances do not match the dream, that is proof that the dream is still forming, not proof that it isn't coming. The invisible stage of creation is the longest part. Just as a seed must root itself before it sprouts, your desire must anchor itself in your imagination before you see physical evidence. So dare to see beyond what your eyes show you. Dare to hold the vision even when nothing around you confirms it. The path you are walking now is being shaped by what you have already imagined. Keep seeing it. Keep believing it. Keep living from the end, because everything you have created within is already preparing to appear without. Your imagination has already made the way. You are simply walking into what is destined to manifest. Every delay you experience in life is not a sign of denial, but a sign of divine timing. Nothing is ever late in the universe. Everything unfolds with purpose and precision. We often assume delays mean something has gone wrong, or that the path has become blocked. But what if the delay is the very thing that ensures your blessing arrives in the most meaningful, abundant, and life-enhancing way? What if the wait is not wasted time, but the most holy preparation? When you feel delayed, you are being shaped, you are being strengthened, you are being aligned with a better version of yourself, the version capable of holding the blessing without losing it. Every dream requires a foundation, and foundations take time. A blessing that comes too early becomes a burden. A dream delivered before its appointed time collapses under the weight of unprepared hands. The weight you resist is really the protection you need. Life is not random. Every second has intention behind it. Moments that seem stagnant are actually moments of rearrangement. While nothing appears to be moving on the surface, everything is moving underneath. Timing is being perfected. The right people are being positioned. The right opportunities are being constructed. Doors are being shaped just for you, doors that no one else could ever open because they were designed for your hand alone. Think of a sunrise. It doesn't rush. It doesn't panic. It arrives at the exact second it is meant to. And yet every moment before it appears, every shift in the sky, every change in the atmosphere signals its approach. Your breakthrough works in the same way. It may look like darkness before light, silence before sound, pause before progress, but the shift is happening. The transformation is building momentum. When your moment comes, it will be undeniable. Sometimes delays bring detours. People may exit your life. Plans may fall apart. Opportunities may dissolve. But those are not signs of misdirection. They are proof that your journey is being curated. You are being guided away from what would harm you and toward what will grow you. A no today is making room for a greater yes tomorrow. Trust the timing that doesn't make sense yet. Trust the season that feels quiet. Trust that the universe knows more about the path ahead than you do. What looks like waiting is actually alignment. What looks like stillness is sacred synchronicity. Your blessing has a perfect schedule. It will not arrive a moment too early or a moment too late. When the stars align and every detail is ready, it will come suddenly. So suddenly that you will realize the delay was necessary to create the magnitude of the blessing. So instead of asking, why is it taking so long? Begin saying, thank you for preparing it perfectly. The timing is not off, the timing is divine. And soon you will look back and see that every delay wasn't a pause in your life, it was the precise unfolding of destiny. Closed doors are not signs of failure, they are signs of divine guidance. The moment something closes in your life, an opportunity, a relationship, a job, a plan, it may feel like loss. But what if that closed door is the very thing saving you from settling for less than what you were created for? What if rejection is not the end, but a redirection to something far greater, something more aligned with who you are destined to become? We tend to cling to what is familiar. We hold tightly to what we think we want, believing that if the door doesn't open immediately, it must not be meant for us. But when a door shuts, it is not a punishment, it is protection. It is a divine intervention preventing you from walking into something that would limit you, drain you, or delay your purpose. The door that wouldn't open is the proof that life is taking you somewhere better. A closed door forces you to move. It pushes you to explore what you never would have considered if everything had gone according to your plan. You grow, you stretch, you learn to trust the unseen path. Sometimes the only way to lead you toward your destined opportunity is to remove the one you would have chosen out of convenience, fear, or familiarity. Think of every rejection you've faced. At the time, it may have broken your heart or shaken your confidence. But look deeper. You are not where you used to be. You have gained wisdom. You have gained strength. You discovered more about who you are and what you deserve. You realized that some doors closed because you were meant to rise higher than you ever imagined. Each rejection was really a redirection, shifting you onto the exact course that leads to your breakthroughs. When a door closes, don't stand there knocking until your knuckles bleed. Recognize that if it were meant to open, it would. What's meant for you opens effortlessly. It welcomes you. It feels aligned. You don't have to force what is destined. And when you stop chasing what is gone, what is coming can finally arrive. Greater doors don't just open, they find you ready. Ready in your mindset, ready in your resilience, ready in your identity. Closed doors refine you until you fully embody the version of yourself capable of handling the bigger blessing ahead. And when the new door opens, there will be no doubt. It will open with clarity, with peace, with momentum. You will look back and realize that if even one of those old doors had opened, you would have missed the one that leads to your true destiny. So thank the closed doors. They are not blocking you, they are guiding you. They are the universe's way of saying you are meant for more than this. Every door that shut in your face set you up for the moment when the right one swings wide open. revealing a path that was always yours to walk. Rejection is not the end of your story. It is the redirection leading you to the chapter where everything finally makes sense. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. There is a realm of support surrounding you that cannot be touched, measured, or seen with physical eyes. It moves quietly, strategically, intentionally. This unseen help is constantly aligning circumstances, preparing opportunities, and guiding your steps, but it becomes evident, tangible, and undeniable the moment you choose to trust. Faith is not hoping that something might happen. Faith is knowing that it already is. Life is full of moments where you cannot understand the process. You wonder if anything is working for you. You question whether your prayers are being heard or your desires are being considered. In those moments, the mind wants proof before it believes. But spiritual truth operates differently. You believe first, and then the proof appears. Faith is the inner conviction that the blessing is already in motion, even when your senses offer no confirmation. Trust transforms the unseen into the seen. When you walk with faith, you change your posture, your energy, your expectation. You speak with confidence. You wake up with hope. You carry a strength that others can feel. You behave like someone who already has the blessing in hand, and life responds to that certainty. It starts to reveal the very things you believed were coming. Faith activates the invisible assistance that has been waiting for your yes. The universe honors belief. The moment you trust, divine support rushes in. Ideas arrive at the perfect time. Doors begin to open effortlessly. Right people appear. Opportunities flow in ways you could never have designed on your own. It's not coincidence, it's alignment. Faith tunes you into the frequency of your destiny, and what is yours resonates back to you. Consider a seed buried in soil. It is surrounded by invisible forces, nutrients, water, warmth, all working together to help it grow. But if the seed refuses the process, if it fears the darkness and pushes against the soil too soon, it will never become a tree. Your life works the same way. The darkness, the uncertainty, the waiting, these are not signs of abandonment. They are the exact elements that faith uses to transform potential into manifestation. Faith isn't passive, it is active trust. It is persistence when nothing seems to change. It is choosing hope over fear and alignment over doubt. It is saying, I don't see it yet, but I know it's coming. And that knowing becomes the magnet that pulls your blessings into the physical world. You were never meant to navigate life alone. There are forces surrounding you, guiding and lifting you toward your highest good, but they are empowered only when you choose to believe. The moment you trust the invisible, the universe reveals its secrets. The very things that seemed impossible begin to unfold effortlessly. So keep your faith alive. When you hold strong inside, what is meant for you will become visible outside. Your faith is the key that unlocks the blessings waiting on the other side of the unseen. Invisible support becomes visible abundance the moment you choose to trust. Your breakthrough was never a matter of chance. It was written into the fabric of your existence long before you faced the challenges you're dealing with today. Every struggle, every setback, every moment that felt like a battle was not a sign that you wouldn't make it. It was evidence that something extraordinary was being prepared for you. The outcome has already been decided. You win. The process you're walking through is simply grooming you for the victory that has always belonged to you. Many times, we assume the battle is what determines the result. We think our effort, our strength, or our strategy alone decides if we will overcome. But the truth is, the result is determined first. The path is given afterward. You weren't placed in the fight to see if you were strong enough. You were placed there to discover the strength that was already in you. Every challenge is shaping you into the person who can stand confidently in the blessing without crumbling under its weight. If the breakthrough came too early, you might not have recognized its value. If the victory showed up before the preparation, you might not have been able to hold on to it. The waiting seasons, the painful shifts, the lonely moments, these are not failures. They are training, they are pruning, they are polishing you into someone who embodies the victory, not just receives it. There's a bigger picture unfolding beyond what you can see right now. The universe didn't allow you to face this journey because you might lose. It placed you here because you are destined to rise. The battle is the evidence that the blessing is near. Resistance only shows up when something powerful is on the other side. Look back at everything you've survived. The storms that should have destroyed you only made you wiser. The disappointments that broke you open only expanded your capacity to receive more. Every tear watered the ground of your breakthrough. Every obstacle became a stepping stone. Your struggles were not detours, they were preparation for greatness. Even the moments when you doubted, feared, or wanted to give up, the outcome never changed. You were never disqualified. You were never forgotten. You were never without support. Help was moving behind the scenes. Strength was being built inside you. Doors were aligning ahead of you, all so that when the moment of breakthrough arrives, you will know without a doubt you were chosen for this. So stop questioning whether you will make it. The victory is already yours. Your only task is to continue forward, holding the belief that what is promised to you cannot be taken from you. The battle is temporary, the blessing is permanent. Your breakthrough was ordained before the struggle began. You are not fighting for victory, you are fighting from victory. And soon everything you've endured will reveal its purpose. The process was never punishment. It was preparation for the moment when your destiny meets reality and everything finally falls into place. Everything you have walked through has been leading you to this moment. The delays, the closed doors, the silent seasons, the battles that seemed too heavy, none of it was wasted. All of it was preparing you for the blessing that is now aligning with your life. The unseen forces that have been guiding you, protecting you, and strengthening you are about to reveal what they've been building on your behalf. What once felt uncertain will soon make perfect sense. Trust the path, honor your journey, and keep your faith alive, because everything is turning in your favor exactly as it was meant to. Thank you for listening. Your victory is already written. My friends, I want to share with you tonight something that will completely transform your relationship with money. Not through effort, not through struggle, but through understanding a simple truth that consciousness is the only reality. What if I told you that your bank account right now has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to create massive wealth? What if I told you that someone living paycheck to paycheck could manifest $10,000 faster than a millionaire could manifest their next million? I know that sounds impossible to your rational mind, but before this evening is over, I'm going to completely shatter everything you think you know about wealth creation. Let me share with you a story that illustrates this perfectly. I observed two people, both 35 years old, both college graduates, both living in the same city with identical circumstances. The first person worked 60 hours a week at their corporate position, maintained 3 side ventures running on weekends, followed every financial advisor's recommendations religiously, budgeted every single penny, read investment books voraciously, attended wealth seminars, tracked expenses obsessively, and sacrificed their entire social life for financial goals. They did everything the experts commanded them to do. The second person worked part-time at something they absolutely loved, spent money freely on things that brought them joy and fulfillment, never worried about their finances, never checked their bank balance obsessively, had never read a finance book or attended a wealth seminar in their life, and didn't even maintain a budget. To most financial advisors, this second person would be considered financially irresponsible, even reckless. After 5 years, the second person had 10 times more money than the first. They didn't inherit it, didn't win any lottery, didn't get lucky with investments, didn't start with any advantages whatsoever. The only difference, and I mean the only difference, was what was happening in their consciousness around money. The first person was operating from what I call scarcity consciousness. The deep-seated belief that money is hard to get, that you must work extremely hard for every dollar, that there isn't enough to go around, that you must sacrifice and struggle to be worthy of wealth. The second person was operating from wealth consciousness, the absolute knowing that money flows easily and naturally to those who are aligned with it, that opportunities are everywhere waiting to be recognized, that abundance is their natural birthright, that wealth is simply a reflection of their inner state of being, and that difference in consciousness created completely different financial realities. This is what I call the great deception about money. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Your entire relationship with money will transform forever. You see, most of you have been programmed since childhood with a fundamental lie. This lie has been reinforced by your parents who learned it from their parents, taught in schools, promoted by society, and especially perpetuated by the financial industry itself, because it keeps them in business. You've been told that money comes from external effort alone. Work harder, get more money. Work smarter, get more money. Get more education, more skills, more connections, more experience. Save more, invest more, budget more, sacrifice more, hustle more. The entire financial world operates on this fundamental assumption that money is created through external action and external action alone. I'm not saying those things don't matter. External action is important. But here's what nobody tells you. Here's the secret the financial industry doesn't want you to know because it would put them out of business. All of that external action is completely powerless without the right consciousness behind it. You can have the best financial strategy in the world, but if your consciousness is tuned to scarcity, that strategy will fail. You can work 80 hours a week, but if your inner state is one of lack and limitation, you'll stay broke no matter how hard you work. Think about it this way, and this analogy will change how you see everything. You have two people planting identical seeds, same size, same genetic potential for growth. One person plants their seeds in rich, fertile soil that's been prepared with organic nutrients, perfect drainage, optimal conditions for growth. They've created an environment where those seeds cannot help but flourish. The other person takes the exact same seeds and plants them in concrete, hard, impenetrable concrete that won't allow any growth whatsoever. They water them with the same care, give them the same sunlight, tend to them with the same attention and dedication. Which seeds grow? Obviously the ones in fertile soil. The external action, planting the seed, watering it, giving it sunlight, caring for it, was identical. But the environment, the foundation, the soil itself, determined whether those seeds would flourish or die before they even had a chance to sprout. Your consciousness is that soil. Your beliefs about money, your assumptions about wealth, your inner state around finances, your subconscious programming about what you deserve, your inherited beliefs from your family, your cultural conditioning about wealthy people, that's the environment where all your financial efforts either flourish or die. Most people have been trying to grow money in concrete their entire lives, wondering why nothing works, wondering why they can't get ahead no matter how hard they try, wondering why other people seem to have it so easy while they struggle for every dollar. They're focused entirely on the external actions, the seeds they're planting, the watering, the care, while completely ignoring the soil of their consciousness. But consciousness, that invisible inner environment, that's the true source of all wealth. So let me ask you something. Where does money actually come from? Most would immediately say work or business or investments or the stock market or real estate. But think deeper than that. Think about the fundamental source. Where do business ideas come from? Where do investment opportunities come from? Where do the insights that lead to financial breakthroughs come from? Where do the innovations that create billion-dollar companies come from? They come from consciousness, from awareness, from your ability to recognize patterns that others miss, to see possibilities that others overlook, to attract what already exists in the infinite field of potential. Every single dollar that has ever entered your life came to you through your consciousness first. You became aware of an opportunity others didn't see. You recognized a possibility others missed. You had an idea others didn't have. You met the right person at the right time. You were in the right place when the opportunity presented itself. And here's the key that changes everything. The money was always there, existing in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, waiting for someone with the right consciousness to recognize it and claim it. Every business that exists today, every fortune that's been made, every financial opportunity that's ever manifested, all of these existed as possibilities long before someone made them real. The television and radio existed as a possibility long before they were invented. Your next financial breakthrough exists as a possibility right now, waiting for your consciousness to tune into it. Your consciousness is like a radio that can tune into different frequencies of possibility. When your consciousness is tuned to scarcity, you literally cannot see the opportunities that are right in front of you. Your mind filters them out because they don't match your predominant frequency. When your consciousness is tuned to wealth, you become magnetic to financial opportunities. You start noticing things you never noticed before. You start attracting people and circumstances that create abundance. Let me share another story that makes this crystal clear. I knew a woman named Sarah who struggled financially for 7 years straight. She worked 2 jobs, one as a waitress and one cleaning offices at night, barely making ends meet, constantly living paycheck to paycheck with no savings. She tried everything the financial experts recommend. She used budgeting applications, tried multiple side ventures, took on extra shifts, even went back to school for additional certifications. She read every money book she could find, attended every free wealth seminar, followed every piece of conventional financial advice. Nothing worked. In fact, things seemed to get worse the harder she tried. She was stuck in what I call the effort trap, the belief that more effort equals more results. But she was applying all that effort from scarcity consciousness, so she kept getting scarcity results. It's like trying to drive with the parking brake engaged. No matter how hard you press the accelerator, you're not going anywhere. Then she learned what I'm teaching you tonight. She stopped focusing on her current financial situation and started operating from wealth consciousness. Instead of making decisions from I can't afford it, she started making decisions from how can I afford it. Instead of thinking I'm broke, she started assuming I have access to unlimited wealth. Instead of worrying about money constantly, she started feeling grateful for the abundance already flowing to her, even though she couldn't see it yet. Instead of seeing herself as someone who struggles with money, she started seeing herself as someone who naturally attracts wealth. Within 3 months, her life completely transformed. Her employer at the restaurant offered her a management position she didn't even apply for, along with a 40% salary increase. A week later, a customer she had served once months earlier approached her about a business partnership that would essentially double her income while working fewer hours. 2 weeks after that, her neighbor, a successful entrepreneur traveling abroad for 6 months, asked if she wanted to stay in their beautiful home rent-free while they were gone. A month later, walking through a parking lot, she found a wallet with $300 cash and no identification. After following all legal procedures and waiting the required time, she was able to keep the money. 2 months after that, she had an idea for teaching people her wellness routines through an evening course. She had never created such a course before, had no technical skills, no marketing experience, no business background. But from her new consciousness of abundance, the idea felt natural and exciting rather than overwhelming and impossible. She launched that course and made $15,000 in her first month. Within a year, she had built a six-figure business working from home, doing what she loved. Now here's what will probably give you chills when you fully understand it. Your current financial reality is actually showing you exactly what's happening in your consciousness right now. It's like a perfect readout of your inner state around money. What I'm about to share will change how you see money forever. I call it the money mirror principle, and it's one of the most profound truths about wealth creation. Your external financial reality is a perfect mirror reflection of your internal financial consciousness. Not what you consciously want, not what you hope for, not what you tell yourself you desire, but what you truly believe and assume to be true about money at the deepest levels of your subconscious mind. Your bank account, your income, your financial opportunities, your money problems, your relationship with wealth, all of it is reflecting back to you the exact consciousness you're broadcasting about money, most of which is happening below your conscious awareness. This is why you cannot lie to the universe. You cannot fake wealth consciousness. You cannot pretend your way to abundance. The mirror of reality always shows you the truth of what's really happening inside your consciousness. If you look in a physical mirror and see a frown, you don't try to change the mirror, correct? You don't get angry at the mirror or try to convince it to show you a smile. You don't put cosmetics on the mirror or try to manipulate the reflection. You change your facial expression, and the mirror changes automatically and instantly to match your new expression. The same with money. If you want to change your financial reflection, you must change your financial consciousness first. The external always follows the internal, never the other way around. This is why trying to create wealth through external action alone is like trying to change your reflection by manipulating the mirror. It doesn't work because you're working on the effect rather than the cause. When someone truly believes, not hopes, not wishes, not wants, but truly believes at a cellular subconscious level that money comes easily to them, their entire behavior shifts automatically without effort. They notice opportunities that were always there but invisible to them before. They make different choices without even thinking about it consciously. They take different actions that feel natural and effortless rather than forced and difficult. They attract different people into their lives. They have different conversations. They show up differently in the world. And those shifted behaviors create completely different results. When someone believes deep down that money is hard to get, that they must struggle for every dollar, that they don't deserve wealth, that wealthy people are somehow corrupt or different, that there isn't enough to go around, they unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that comes their way. They overlook possibilities right in front of them. They make fear-based decisions that keep them stuck in limitation. They attract people and circumstances that confirm their limiting beliefs. They engage in self-sabotaging behaviors without even realizing it. And they get fear-based limited results that match their inner state. But changing consciousness isn't about positive thinking or daily affirmations or vision boards, though those can be helpful tools when used correctly. It requires understanding something much more fundamental and powerful that most people never learn. This brings us to the law of assumption, the most powerful principle in money creation and honestly in all of reality creation. Most people have never heard of the law of assumption, even though it's operating in their lives every single day. They've heard of the law of attraction, but the law of assumption is far more powerful and far more practical. Here's the critical difference that changes everything. And pay close attention because this could be the most important thing you ever learn about creating wealth. When you hope for money, when you wish for wealth, when you want financial abundance, you're actually affirming and reinforcing the fact that you don't currently have it. Hope implies lack. Wishing implies absence. Wanting means you're focused on what you don't have rather than what you do have. Every time you hope for money, you're unconsciously telling the universe, I don't have money, please give me some. And the universe responds by giving you more experiences of not having money. But when you assume wealth is yours, when you operate from the inner knowing that abundance is your natural state, when you make decisions as if you already have access to unlimited financial resources, you're claiming wealth is already true in your reality. You're not asking for it. You're not begging for it. You're not hoping for it. You're assuming it. You're embodying it. You're living from it. Let me give you a simple example that will make this crystal clear and show you how assumption works in everyday life. If I told you right now to hope that you're wearing clothes, that would be strange, wouldn't it? You don't hope you're wearing clothes. You assume it. You know it. It's not even a question. You don't have to check. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to convince yourself or use affirmations to believe it. You simply assume that you're clothed and you operate from that assumption automatically and unconsciously. That assumption affects everything about how you show up in the world. You don't worry about being naked. You don't feel self-conscious about your nudity. You don't hope that people won't notice you're not wearing clothes. You simply operate from the assumption that you're appropriately dressed, and that assumption creates your entire experience of reality in that moment. That's exactly how you need to relate to money and wealth. Not as something you're desperately trying to get. Not as something outside of you that you need to chase or struggle for. Not as something you have to convince the universe to give you, but as something you already have natural unlimited access to. It's a shift from I want money to I am wealthy. From I hope I can afford it to I can afford anything I truly desire. From money is hard to get to money flows to me easily and constantly. In the quantum field of infinite possibilities. And quantum physics has proven this scientifically through experiments like the double-slit experiment. There exists every possible version of reality simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling financially, and there's also a version where you're incredibly wealthy. There's a timeline where you're worried about money, and there's a timeline where money is never a concern for you. There's a reality where you work hard for every dollar, and there's a reality where money comes to you effortlessly. All of these realities exist simultaneously in what physicists call the quantum field. When you assume the wealthy version as your true reality, when you embody that timeline with your thoughts, feelings, decisions, and actions, you begin collapsing that possibility into your physical experience. You start attracting the people, circumstances, opportunities, and resources that exist in that wealthy timeline. The difference between wanting money and being wealthy is the difference between lack consciousness and abundance consciousness. Wanting keeps you perpetually in a state of not having. Being puts you in a state of already having. And the universe always gives you more of whatever state you're predominantly in. Think about it this way. If you want ice cream, that means you don't have ice cream. The wanting itself is an affirmation of lack. But if you're eating ice cream, you're not wanting it. You're having it, enjoying it, being satisfied by it. When you want money, you're in the frequency of not having money. When you assume you're wealthy, you're in the frequency of having wealth. And when you truly understand this, when this clicks at a deep level, you realize that there's an actual frequency to wealth itself. Let me introduce you to what I call the wealth frequency. And this concept alone could transform your entire financial reality forever. Everything in existence operates at different vibrational frequencies. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is basic physics that you can measure with scientific instruments. Love has a measurable frequency. Fear has a frequency. Gratitude has a frequency. Joy has a frequency. And wealth, abundance, financial prosperity. These have a very specific frequency that you can learn to tune into consciously. Scientists have actually measured the frequency of different emotions using specialized technology. They found that emotions like gratitude, love, and appreciation create coherent, harmonious frequency patterns, while emotions like fear, anger, and worry create chaotic, incoherent patterns. When you're in coherent frequency states, you literally become more magnetic to positive outcomes and opportunities. When you align your consciousness with the wealth frequency, when you match your inner vibration to the vibration of abundance, you become magnetic to money. You start attracting opportunities, ideas, people, insights, and circumstances that create financial abundance. It's not magic or wishful thinking. It's physics. Think of it like tuning a radio. And this analogy will change how you think about consciousness forever. When you tune to 101.5 FM, you receive that station's signal clearly. When you tune to 95.3 FM, you get that station instead. The radio waves for both stations are always there, filling the air around you simultaneously. But you only receive the one you're tuned to. You cannot receive multiple stations clearly at the same time. You must choose one frequency to focus on. When you tune your consciousness to the wealth frequency, you receive wealth. When you're tuned to the scarcity frequency, you receive scarcity. When you're tuned to the struggle frequency, you receive struggle. When you're tuned to the abundance frequency, you receive abundance. The opportunities for all of these experiences are always present, but you can only receive the ones that match your frequency. Most people are unconsciously broadcasting the scarcity frequency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're constantly transmitting thoughts, feelings, and energy of lack, worry, limitation, not enough, fear about money, stress about bills, anxiety about the future, resentment toward wealthy people, beliefs that money is hard to get, and the universe, like a perfect mirror, reflects back exactly what they're broadcasting. They get more experiences of lack, more bills to worry about, more financial stress, more reasons to feel anxious about money. But once you learn how to consciously tune to the wealth frequency, your entire financial reality transforms. You start operating from assumption rather than hope, from abundance rather than lack, from gratitude rather than worry, from excitement rather than fear. You begin making decisions the way wealthy people make decisions. You start seeing opportunities the way wealthy people see opportunities. You attract the same types of people and circumstances that wealthy people attract. But here's the most important part. And this is where most people get confused or think this is about denial or delusion. None of this requires you to deny your current financial situation or pretend that your bank account has more money than it actually has. You're not lying to yourself or living in fantasy or ignoring reality. You're simply operating from a different level of consciousness, a different assumption about what's possible for you. You can acknowledge your current situation while simultaneously operating from wealth consciousness. You can say, I currently have $500 in my bank account and I have access to unlimited wealth. You can say, I'm currently experiencing a cash flow challenge and I know that abundance is my natural state. You can say, my income is currently this amount and I'm open to receiving much more. The key is holding both truths simultaneously, the current physical reality and the larger spiritual reality. You're not denying what is, but you're also not limiting yourself to what is. You're acknowledging what is while claiming what's possible. Most people make the mistake of thinking that acknowledging their current financial situation means they have to accept it as permanent. But that's not true. You can acknowledge where you are while simultaneously moving toward where you want to be. In fact, you must acknowledge where you are in order to move beyond it, because you cannot change what you won't acknowledge. The moment you truly grasp that, consciousness creates your financial reality, not the other way around. Everything shifts in the most profound way. You realize you've been trying to solve an inner problem with outer solutions. You've been trying to change your bank account to feel wealthy when the real secret is to feel wealthy first, and let your bank account catch up. You've been trying to change your circumstances to change your feelings, when the truth is you must change your feelings to change your circumstances. Most people are waiting for their external circumstances to change before they'll allow themselves to feel abundant. They think, once I have more money, then I'll feel wealthy. Once I get that promotion, then I'll feel successful. Once I pay off my debts, then I'll feel free. Once I reach my financial goals, then I'll be happy. But that's backwards. That's like waiting for the mirror to smile before you smile. It will never happen because the mirror can only reflect what you're already expressing. You must feel wealthy now, in this moment, regardless of your current circumstances, in order to attract the experiences that will match that feeling. You must embody abundance before abundance can manifest in your life. You must become the person who has what you want before you can have what you want. This is why some people can start with nothing and create massive wealth quickly, while others can work for decades with all the correct strategies and stay stuck financially. It's not about luck, connections, education, intelligence, or even hard work, though all of those can be helpful. It's about consciousness. It's about the frequency you're broadcasting. It's about the assumptions you're operating from on a moment-to-moment basis. When you embody wealth consciousness, when you truly assume that abundance is your natural state, when you make decisions from overflow rather than scarcity, the universe has no choice but to reorganize itself to match your new level of consciousness. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. Ideas download into your mind like inspiration from another dimension. The right people show up at the right time with the right resources. Synchronicities become normal everyday experiences. What most people call luck becomes your standard operating procedure. Your consciousness is the soil where your financial future grows. Just like a farmer wouldn't plant seeds in concrete and expect them to flourish, you cannot plant money goals in scarcity consciousness and expect them to manifest. But when you prepare the soil of your consciousness, when you cultivate beliefs that support wealth, when you assume abundance as your natural state, every financial goal you plant will grow and flourish beyond what you thought possible. The financial industry doesn't want you to know this because it would put them out of business. They want you to believe that wealth creation is complicated, that you need their products and services, that you must follow their complex strategies and formulas, that you need to work with financial advisors and purchase their investment products and follow their complicated plans. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful than anything they're selling you. Wealth is an inside job. It starts in consciousness and flows outward into physical reality. When your consciousness is aligned with abundance, the correct strategies, opportunities, and resources will naturally appear in your life. When your consciousness is aligned with scarcity, no strategy in the world will create lasting wealth for you. This doesn't mean that external action isn't important. Of course you need to take action. But when action comes from wealth consciousness rather than scarcity consciousness, it feels inspired rather than desperate, effortless rather than forced, exciting rather than overwhelming. You find yourself naturally attracted to the correct opportunities and naturally repelled by the wrong ones. You make better decisions because you're not operating from fear. You take more calculated risks because you're not afraid of losing what little you have. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. You are not your circumstances. You are not your bank account. You are not your current financial situation. You are consciousness itself. And consciousness has the power to create any reality it assumes to be true. The money you want already exists. The wealth you desire is already yours in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. The only question is whether you're going to claim it or continue to reject it through limiting beliefs and scarcity consciousness. Every wealthy person started exactly where you are right now, as consciousness contemplating wealth. They didn't have the money first and then develop wealth consciousness. They developed wealth consciousness first and then the money followed. This is the sequence that creates lasting abundance. Consciousness first, then manifestation, not the other way around. Your current financial situation is not your financial identity. It's just where you happen to be right now based on the consciousness you've been operating from up until this point. But consciousness can change, which means your financial reality can change. And the beautiful thing is that when consciousness changes, reality changes quickly to match it. I've witnessed people transform their financial lives in weeks or months by simply shifting their consciousness around money. I've watched people attract unexpected income, new opportunities and financial windfalls by learning to operate from wealth consciousness rather than scarcity consciousness. And I've also witnessed people work incredibly hard for years without success because they never addressed the consciousness foundation that creates wealth. The universe is abundant. There is more than enough money, more than enough opportunities, more than enough resources for everyone to live in prosperity. The only limitation is in consciousness. When you release the limitations in your consciousness, you release the limitations in your financial reality. But transformation requires commitment. It requires you to be more committed to your vision of abundance than you are to your current story of limitation. It requires you to choose faith over fear, possibility over circumstance, assumption over hope. It requires you to trust the process even when you cannot see immediate results. Remember, consciousness is the cause and financial reality is the effect. When you change the cause, the effect must change. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And often the when is much sooner than you think possible. I want you to identify one limiting belief you've been carrying about money. Perhaps it's money doesn't grow on trees, or you must work hard for money, or there's not enough to go around, or wealthy people are greedy, or I don't deserve wealth, or money is the root of all evil. Acknowledge it, because awareness is the first step to transformation. You cannot change what you're not aware of. Then rewrite that belief into an empowering assumption. Instead of money doesn't grow on trees, think money flows to me easily and naturally from multiple sources. Instead of I must work hard for money, think I create wealth through inspired action and joy. Instead of there's not enough, think I live in an abundant universe with unlimited resources. Instead of I don't deserve wealth, think I deserve all the abundance life has to offer. Start operating from wealth consciousness today. Don't wait for your circumstances to change. Don't wait for more money to appear. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Start now in this moment with the decision to assume that abundance is your natural state. Your consciousness is the soil where your financial future grows. Make certain you're planting your money goals in fertile ground. Your wealth transformation doesn't start when your bank account changes. It starts when your consciousness changes. And that can happen right now, in this moment with this decision. The wealthy version of you already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. That version is calling to you right now, inviting you to step into that reality. The question is, are you ready to answer that call? Are you ready to release the limitations that have kept you small? Are you ready to claim the abundance that is your birthright? Your new financial reality is waiting for you to claim it. The universe is ready to support your transformation. Wealth consciousness is ready to be activated in your life. The only question is, are you ready to step into wealth consciousness and become the abundant person you were always meant to be? This is your moment of choice. This is your invitation to transformation. This is your opportunity to step out of limitation and into limitless possibility. The choice is yours, and it starts with consciousness. Choose wealth, choose abundance, choose the unlimited financial potential that exists within you right now. Your journey to financial freedom begins here. Your transformation to wealth consciousness starts now. Thank you. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures, and I'll see you in the next video.